Just Joe here, it is almost Christmas, and I got too many movies. I'm gonna watch one. Okay, so last Friday, I kind of cheated a little bit. I did not do a Christmas movie. I just did a review of Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is getting very polarizing reviews. And I will go ahead and say I saw it for a second time, and it was less good than the first time, because I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Honestly, after the second viewing, I'd probably give it a 4, but I still wish people would just enjoy the movie for what it is. If you really just didn't enjoy it, fine, I do kind of get it, but hopefully a lot of you did enjoy it like I did, and whatever. But now, I'm finally getting to the Christmas movies, the 2 that I have left in December. And, well, I'm gonna go and be honest. It is Christmas Eve. It is early Christmas Eve morning, and I'm going to watch a Christmas classic that I've never seen before. And screw it, I'm just gonna go get into it. I'm going to watch It's a Wonderful Life. And I've always wondered, you know, is this movie actually wonderful? Is it a wonderful movie? Does it hold up? Because it is now seen as not just, you know, one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made, one of the best holiday movies ever made, whatever. It's considered one of the best movies ever made, one of the greatest films of all time from the legendary director Frank Capra. And also one of Jimmy Stewart's, whatever you want to call him, one of his best performances as well. It's one that he's remembered for to this day. So, you know, yeah, does it actually hold up? And I couldn't believe I've never seen it. I bought it years ago, and I really know the movie front to back. It's been ripped off a billion freaking times. Shrek Forever After ripped it off. Joe Dirt sequel ripped it off, and both of them did it, you know, poorly. You know, this movie has been ripped off, especially its ending, a million freaking times. But does it still hold up after all these years? This is a movie from 1945. Well, I got another Christmas movie to watch tonight, or this morning, I guess, as well, and a video to do on that. So I'm going to kind of do almost like a too many movies at the movies. I already watched this, so I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So I'm just going to kind of speed through everything, but basically, the plot of It's a Wonderful Life is George Bailey, played by Jimmy Stewart. He's in this small town, and he's you know, from a very young age, he wants to go explore. He wants to explore the world. What young kid doesn't? And he wants to build things. And he just wants to get out of the town. He doesn't want to get married. Nothing. But at the very beginning of the movie, it's talked about, like, basically like God and Mary, Jesus, and Joseph. And they're going to send a guardian angel down named Clarence to George Bailey because he's about ready to do something he's going to regret. So he's going to help him. But for Clarence to understand George Bailey, they take him through his life, which is a very clever way to go through all of, you know, the important parts of George Bailey's life. You see him as a child, how he saves his younger brother from drowning. He helps out an old man, you know, when he's younger, because the young man is a pharmacist, but he's going through a rough time, and George Bailey stops him, you know, from doing something really bad that would have gotten him into a lot of trouble. He helps a lot of people. He's a good kid, and you see him with his family and with his brother, and, you know, you see him kind of grow up the important parts of his life and the girls in his life, and he just can't seem to escape this town because of circumstances. His father passes away. He has to stay behind and take care of his father's business, the bank and loan, because if he doesn't, you know, it's going to go out of business, so he has to stay. And then he finally does get married, and to a woman named Mary, and he gets married to Mary. And, you know, they love each other, and I love their relationship, but, you know, he never wanted to get married because he wanted to go to college, and he still can't. His brother got to go to college instead of him, because he stayed behind to take care of the family. And then he makes his own family, and all this other stuff. You see his entire life up until the point where everything just collapses. It's the worst day in George Bailey's life, and his business is going to be, you know, gone. He goes home. He treats his family poorly. He treats his uncle poorly, and he's basically going to try to end it all. And that's where Clarence comes in, and everyone knows this. It's not really ruining anything. and Clarence shows him what it would have been like if he had never been born. So I just got done watching this movie maybe 10-15 minutes ago, and I will tell you what, the ending of this movie, and I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but it made me tear up so bad I almost cried. And I've seen this ending a million times. I have just never seen It's a Wonderful Life all the way through. This is one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made, and after watching this, this really is one of the greatest films ever made because it's charming, it has heart, the acting in it is amazing. Even the side characters, there are so many characters in this, and they're memorable, and you love them, and you fall in love with this town. You fall in love with George Bailey. This is quite possibly right now my favorite Jimmy Stewart performance, and there's a lot of his movies that I haven't seen, but he is so believable, and he's so likable as George Bailey. His wife, Mary, very likable, and you want them to get together, and it's kind of a slow build to where they get together and their love feels genuine and real. George with his family, genuine and real. This movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I figured it was like an hour and a half. I did not expect 2 hours and 10 minutes, but it uses that time to its advantage, and it takes its time to tell the story for you to fall in love with George and really feel for him because of all of us. You know, I'll go and admit it to you. Okay? I'm still in the same town that I was born in, that I grew up in. You know, the short film I'm doing now is actually about that. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Sometimes I have been, and some people have criticized me for it. And screw those people, okay? You know, you can leave whenever you want, but leave when it's right. And some people never leave where they grow up, and that's okay too. Because there's obviously something there that keeps them there. For the most part. It's not always such a happy ending like George Bailey got, and hopefully that I get. But, you know, this movie does such a great job of showing that you shouldn't be, you know, you shouldn't be embarrassed about your circumstances because you probably helped out a lot of people if you were a good person. And George Bailey was a kind, good person. He did so much good, but he also got a lot of good coming to him. It's just he didn't get what he wanted, and he finally lashed out when he had that really bad day. You know, but the story still holds up. It's beautifully directed by Frank Capra. I mean, just amazingly directed by Frank Capra. I loved it. It's simple, yet it's unique. And the black and white, of course, I love black and white movies, and it looks amazing. And I love the town, I love the sets, you know, of the town. I just love how it looks. I love how these movies look from like the 30s, 40s, 50s. I love the sets, I love the buildings. It sometimes looks really fake, but that makes it even more charming. But all the characters, I didn't dislike any of the characters, even the kid actors, George Bailey's kids. I loved everybody in this. Every side character, everything from beginning to end. The guy who plays Clarence, you know, the drugstore owner who kind of slapped around George when he was a little kid, and I'm pretty sure the actor really did slap the child actor around like really hard, but it made for a good scene, so yay! Child acting laws has changed, I hope. But every actor in this is amazing and memorable, and you fall in love with this town and these people. The script, very well put together. This is a well-rounded script and one of the most perfect scripts I've ever seen put to screen, honestly. You know, I can't think of much dialogue that was a waste, really, if any. It served a purpose, and the story flowed so well, and that also has to do with Frank Capra's direction, but it flowed so extraordinarily well. The script is a masterpiece in screenwriting, it really is. The music was excellent. You know, the movie leaves you with such a good feeling. And it's a movie that, if you need to be reminded about, you know, your life may not be what you wanted it to be, or may not be important, you know, but it is important. And this movie on Christmas Eve really put me in the holiday spirit and made me realize what is important in my life. Family, friends, you know, your significant other, you know, that's the stuff that really matters. It really is. And this movie spoke to me because that's been me for a long time. I was George Bailey. I was George Bailey, and maybe I still am a little bit. I've been shooting for the stars, you know, since I graduated high school, and I discovered this whole filmmaking thing and writing, and I really thought, you know, that's gonna get me. At first I was like fame and fortune because I was young and stupid, you know, and then I realized that this is something I really do love, and I want it, and it'll help me get out of this town. But during that time, I made some of the best friends I will have in my life. I've gotten closer to my family, you know, and I've gained a lot. I've lost a lot and I've gained a lot. And this movie really did show me that. And it may be cheesy to be talking this way. I really don't care. It's the Christmas season and I feel like being a little bit cheesy, okay? I'm full of cheese right now. You know, I didn't eat cheese. I'm just full of it. And this movie just put me in a good mood. It's really early in the morning, and this movie put me in a fantastic mood. It's a charming, beautiful film that still holds up and is one of the greatest movies of all time. My only complaint is that some of the editing is very wonky, but that's kind of just how it was back then sometimes. They didn't have editing techniques like they did nowadays. They didn't shoot from several angles, so it's a nitpick. But this movie, I love this movie, and honestly, I see me watching this not during just the Christmas season, but throughout the year. This may go down as one of my all-time favorite movies. That is how much I love it. And if you haven't seen it, please see it. And if you can see it before Christmas tomorrow, please do. Or just see it to see it. Because it is a fantastic piece of filmmaking. It's a Frank Capra masterpiece that finally got its due. It's a Jimmy Stewart masterpiece. Everything about it is about as near perfect as you could get. You know, minus some of the editing, but again, that's a nitpick. I love this movie. I love this movie. I love this movie. So I will give It's a Wonderful Life a Just Joe rating of 5 out of 5. So thank you very much for tuning in to Too Many Movies with me, Just Joe. Links in the description below to all that stuff. It is Christmas Eve. I got one more Christmas movie to watch so I can get these up by tonight, so then I can go and be with family. And I hope that you have family to go to or friends. Nobody should spend the holidays alone. At the same time, if you are, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But hopefully you can be with somebody, because that's really what the holidays are about. It's not about gifts. That's just the cherry on top, you know. And I've realized that I have a lot to be thankful for in my life. A lot more than most people, and I'm going to try to show everyone how thankful I really am. And also thankful to anyone who watches these videos, because they're just fun to do. But I got one more Christmas movie to watch, which means one more video to make, and I will have both of these out today on Christmas Eve before Christmas, and then one more video to close out 2017 with a New Year's Eve movie, in a way. I won't say what it is, but I'm Just Joe. I got too many movies. You know, more movies to watch, including one more Christmas movie, and you'll see what it is in the next video. So I will see you then. We're almost to Christmas, guys. Can't wait. Coffee. Quiet on the set.